As viewers of this channel know, I'm a huge Michael Penix Jr. fan. Penix Jr. played in the Falcons' first preseason game against the Dolphins, but then sat game 2 and is going to sit game 3, which is somewhat of a curious situation. We'll talk about that more later in the show. But this is my reaction to Michael Penix Jr. first NFL game. This is QB Unfiltered, my take.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Okay, I had Michael Penix Jr. as the number 2 quarterback in this past draft behind Jaden Daniels. I really felt like Penix Jr. landed in the very best scenario and situation of any of the first round picks, the 6 first round quarterback picks in this past draft. Going to the Falcons is sort of like going into college for him now, and the fact that he's going to redshirt his first year, maybe, and grow into the job, which is something that's not afforded to a lot of rookie quarterbacks who are thrown into the fire before they're ready to go. And it really jacks with them mentally and destroys a lot of quarterbacks before they can even get going in their career. But Penix Jr. is in a situation with the Falcons where he's coming in and he's going to compete with Kirk Cousins, the veteran there, proven veteran, for the job, which eventually will be Penix Jr.'s job, maybe sooner than later. But he's in a situation where he's going to grow into the role, grow into being an NFL quarterback, learn the game from a guy who has proven that he knows what he's doing. That's Kirk Cousins. And get practice reps and get game reps and get ready for when they hand the reins over to him. And he's going to be, if he stays healthy, he's going to be one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL, I believe. So before I dive into my take and reactions to Penix Jr.'s first NFL game, let's talk about the somewhat curious situation going on with him, head coach Raheem Morris, and quote unquote starting quarterback Kirk Cousins, and their decision not to play Penix Jr. in preseason games 2 and 3. Now, this is kind of a head scratcher for a lot of people. I can see where Atlanta's going with this because this tells me a couple of things. Number one, we really have to ask ourselves, is Kirk Cousins ready to play? You know, he's coming off that Achilles tendon tear, which is a really bad injury for a quarterback. And, you know, he's in his mid-30s. He's played in the league for a long time. And you don't want your starting quarterback to take unnecessary hits in the preseason. I mean, Atlanta knows what Kirk Cousins brings to the table. He doesn't need to get reps in preseason to sharpen his game or to tell the coaching staff what he can and can't do. They already know that. He's a proven commodity. Michael Penix Jr., on the other hand, I mean, they've done their homework. They drafted him. There was a reason that they drafted him. They see him every day in practice, so they're able to evaluate him. They've had scrimmages against other NFL teams, which replicate game reps, which I'm telling you, those game reps are so valuable to a quarterback. And so the fact that they've only let Michael Penix Jr. play in one preseason game, that tells me a couple things. They're either concerned that Kirk Cousins isn't going to be ready to go when the bell rings for the regular season, or Michael Penix Jr. might be their guy. We'll wait and see. I mean, there may be some other reasons behind this. And yes, it may be a situation where Atlanta's coaching staff feels like they've seen all they need to see with Michael Penix Jr. in practice and fall camp. And they don't want to run the risk of, something silly happening to him injury-wise in the preseason. Next, I really like what I'm seeing from new offensive coordinator Zack Robinson. Now, Robinson is a pup as far as OCs go. This is Robinson's first offensive coordinator job, although he was in a training ground, which I think is one of the best in the NFL. He was the quarterback coach and an assistant coach for Sean McVay in the LA Rams. And McVay, a young, innovative offensive mind, does some great things with the Rams offense, their offensive structure and scheme. And Zack Robinson, with that under his belt now, has moved on to Atlanta. And just seeing what he did in Penix Jr.'s first game, I really, really like what I see from this guy. He said that coming into this job that he wanted to create space for the skill guys for Atlanta to play in. And man, he's doing exactly that. So watching just one game with Zack Robinson, he's doing that with formations. They're spreading the defense out. He's releasing 5 receivers into the route, and this is huge. Okay, we've talked about this before. Anytime you put your running back into the route with a 5-receiver route, defenses have a hell of a time accounting for the back. And if you see these clips or any clips that I show, college, NFL, anytime the back releases on a route, whether it's a swing, a shoot, a check down, an option route, whatever, he's usually standing all by himself. But the other thing that releasing the back does for Michael Penix Jr. and what he's so good at doing is it gives him that check down route. And so when reads 1 or 2 aren't there, or possibly 3, Penix Jr. always has that outlet guy, which is his running back, and he does a hell of a job of checking the ball down. Okay. Robinson understands spacing concepts with the route schemes. So he's stretching the defense from sideline to sideline with the formations, but he's really stretching them once the ball's snapped. So by releasing those 5 receivers on the route, he is expanding the defensive coverage and opening up huge gaps, real estate, patches of grass for receivers to sit in and give his quarterbacks really easy targets to throw to. And then he is running a lot of screens, and I'm a big screen guy. The screen game does so many things for your offense. It's an extension of the run game. It gets the ball to a guy in space, let him do something with it. It slows the pass rush down. It tires defensive linemen out who have to run laterally or chase downfield after screens. And it basically just pisses the defense off. They're easy completions for the quarterback, and it's a way to expand the offense and get the ball into the hands of playmakers out in space and let them do their thing. Now, with that being said about Zack Robinson and his offensive scheme, there's one thing that I don't like that he does with Penix Jr., and that is his pre-snap stance that he's got him in. I'm a huge believer in a staggered stance. I think as a left-hander, your right foot has to be back so that you're taking, you're pushing off, you're pivoting on that right foot, and that's your push-off foot, and you're taking your first step with your left foot. Robinson's got Penix Jr.'s feet the other way. Okay, so his right foot's forward. Now, the reason that he's doing this is the thought process behind this is that first step or two that you take in that stance, you're able to keep your eyes and head straight ahead, or in the ability to easily see from sideline to sideline on either side. And he's saying that if you turn sideways on your first step for a left-hander, it's hard to see to the right flat. And I just think, in my opinion, that's a load of horse shit. you work your quarterbacks in drills. They put their chin on their shoulder, and it's very, very easy to put my chin on my right shoulder and see not only the cornerback to the right side as a left-handed quarterback, but I can see the head coach on the sideline. I can see the training staff behind them and the cheerleaders behind the bench. So it's all a matter of what you require your quarterback to do. That's another story for another show. But what the staggered stance does that they have with Penix Jr. is when they do as GSTs on quick throws, grab, stab, and throw, GST, grab the snap, stab that back foot in the ground and get the ball out. It forces Penix Jr. now to take an extra step. So he has to step, then stab the back foot in the ground, then get the ball out. And that extra step is the difference between completing balls to receivers in tight grass or having the ball knocked down because it's getting out of the quarterback's hand late. Okay, let's jump into this preseason game against the Miami Dolphins. Here we go. All right, this first play, this is easy. This is a spacing concept. It's a two-man route. They're in trips. The receiver to the right has cheated his split down now, and he's running like a little stick route. He's going to cross inside the cornerback and just sit in grass. They release the running back to that side on a swing. It's a two-man game, easy read for Penix Jr. If the cornerback sinks down on the stick, he throws the swing. If the cornerback widens with the swing, he throws the stick. I don't know why more teams don't run this concept. This is something that the air raid guys in college get and run. And really, you're playing a team that runs zone coverage. You can run this route up and down the field and blow the scoreboard up. Next play here. This is a really nice throw by Penix Jr., but check out his feet. He takes a little brace step at the end of his drop. Why does he take this brace step? Because when he gets to the end of his drop, his weight is going back, and he has to take this little mini brace step to halt his center of gravity and his weight distribution and get it back between his feet and under his shoulder so that he can push off stride and throw. Well, that little glitch, that little brace step causes him to throw the ball a tick late. Now, if he puts the ball on the receiver, it's a catch and a first down, but look how close the safety gets to making the play or getting in the play. That's the difference between completions and incompletions, and especially in the NFL where the DBs can freaking fly. So you watch this safety, as soon as he sees where Penix Jr. is going with the ball and he sees the route by that receiver, that vertical, he just puts his head down and whew, he's gone to the outside to try to get in and make the play. If that ball's out on time, the safety can't get close to it. But if you've got any type of readjusting your weight distribution, your balance to throw the ball, that allows him to make up ground and possibly get in and make the play. He overthrows the deep out. Now, this was one of my concerns when I talked about Penix Jr. at UW. I said at the time that when he's very, very accurate, when he has accuracy problems, it seems to be on the same types of throws, deep outs and corner routes. So anything to the sideline where this could be caused by one of two things. Number one, sometimes I think Penix Jr. keeps too much weight back on his back foot. And when you do that and you're trying to throw the ball on a one deeper downfield, that ball has a tendency to sail on you. Or the second reason may be that he's just trying to cut loose too much and put too much juice on the throw. And again, it sails on him. Either way, I've watched a lot of Penix Jr. games, and when he misses guys, a lot of those throws are on out-breaking routes. Okay, on this same play now, I want you to check the running back. Remember, we talked about checkdowns always standing by themselves. Check out the running back here on the checkdown. And then I also want you to check out the press release by the outside receiver down here to the right. That's how you get out on your route cleanly and catch a lot of balls, by not getting jammed up on the line of scrimmage by a press corner. So a real quick foot fire, a nod to the outside, and an inside release, and it's see you later. Okay, next play. This is a Michael Penix Jr. trait. When his primary receiver is not there, he snaps his eyes and he deals it to his backside receivers. Now, there is a number of starting quarterbacks in the NFL that do not do this, and there's a couple of first-round selections in this past draft at quarterback that didn't do this and couldn't do this in college. Penix Jr. did this in every game he played for the UW Huskies, and this is an example of why Tom Brady was such a great quarterback among all the other great skills he had. Tom Brady ran the offense, meaning if your play side guy's not there, snap your eyes to your backside reads and just run the offense the way it's intended to be run. Deal the ball to your receivers and let them make plays. And look how fast Penix Jr. goes from play side to snap eyes, knowing where your receiver is going to be. This wideout does a great job of sitting in grass, and it's boom. And it's playing catch, and this is easy for Penix Jr. Okay, now on this play here, Penix Jr. stands in there. This is part of a quarterback's job. Deliver the ball and take a hit. All right. He stands in there. He's got a guy coming off the edge unblocked. He knows he's going to get whacked, and he puts the ball out there and gives his receiver a chance to make a play. Now he overthrows it. It's incompletion, and he gets his ass kicked. This is Michael Penix Jr.'s fault, and this was confirmed by head coach Raheem Morris in the post-game comments, where defensively Miami has got this ghost stand-up guy to the left. You've got to get your protection going that way. They should have been sorting left here. That guy should have been blocked. They're just sending 5 guys. This is on Penix Jr. He missed the check. He didn't get the protection changed and got his butt kicked because of it, and they missed a touchdown. That's a learning experience for him, but this is what happened on that play. Okay, we talked about screens. Look how easy this is. Little running back slip screen. Now, the key to this play is that you don't tip off the defense that you're running screen. You can go from high school to college to the NFL. You've got offensive guys that tip when screens are coming, whether it's offensive linemen, running backs, or quarterbacks. They do a good job here of not only it being a quicker developing screen, but they really don't tip what's going on. And you can tell that. You can tell that they don't tip it by how the defense reacts once the ball is snapped. If you've got defensive linemen that are coming up field with their ears pinned back, they're not smelling screen. If you've got linebackers that aren't screaming towards the screen guy, they're not smelling screen. And the other thing that I want you to notice on here, watch Penix Jr. fade away from this throw after he makes it. Why is he doing that? Every time your quarterback throws a screen, you've got defensive linemen that fairly quickly during that play are going to be unblocked and coming right at the QB. So you always want to teach your quarterback, deliver the ball and fade away from it so that you absorb the hit, so that you roll with it. I always told my quarterbacks, you want to look like a guy that fell out of the back of a pickup truck going down Highway 101 in Northern California. Throw the screen, fade back, get whacked, roll, absorb the hit. What you don't want is a quarterback, plant your feet, stride into the throw, get hit, especially down low. And now you're talking about knee injuries and just bad things happening. Okay, love this. All right, checking the ball down. Now, we can't see the deeper routes. They've got 2 receivers that are running basic, flat type routes to where they're widening defensive guys. And there's your running back on the check down. Penix Jr., This is so subtle, and most people watching these games don't notice this stuff, but look at the great pocket management. Takes his drop. He's got his reads downfield. We don't see what those routes are, so we can't see what's going on there, but he doesn't like it. That means coverage has gotten depth underneath those guys. And based on how open the check down is, those guys got a lot of depth. But Penix Jr. now senses some pressure, and he steps up. And as he steps up in the pocket, he also turns that ball to protect it, because you always got defensive linemen that are trying to swipe their paws at the ball. And if you've got sloppy ball carriage and ball security, that's when you see fumbles in the pocket, and that's not a good situation. So look what Penix Jr. does here. He plays catch, and all they're doing is moving the sticks by throwing a little dinky check down and letting the back run. It's an 8-yard gain. Kudos to Michael Penix Jr. Okay, this last clip I want to show you, there's 3 things now going on in this play that I don't like, and I hate to end this on a negative clip, but we're going to do it anyway. Okay, now, you're throwing the deep out. Penix Jr. does not need to take the hitch step at the end of this drop. What he should be doing, I mean, he's keying that route. He sees how tight that coverage is. You also know one of the things that I'm always preaching here on this channel, the most open a receiver is going to be at any route is at the top of his stem. So on this out route, as soon as that receiver sticks that toe and starts to break it to the outside, that's the most he's going to be open. If Penix Jr. just hits that last step in his drop and fires it, he's got the space to catch the ball, get tackled, but it's a 10-yard completion. By taking that hitch step and then throwing it, he allows that DB to close the gap on a receiver that may not have been running the world's greatest route, which is my second point I want to make. When you're running routes as receivers, you have got to sell the vertical. Watch how this DB just sits and flat foots it, because this slot receiver isn't selling the fact that he's going deep and running by him. So he starts to slow down. He raises his helmet level a little bit, starts to chop his feet too early and too much, and this guy just sits on it. All right. And then the last thing with this play, and this was kind of surprising to me, and again, you don't know where the breakdown is here. Is it scheme or is it a mental bust by a player? But watch what happens with their pass protection here. So they're running a little twist, and who ends up blocking the guy that's wrapping around and coming? It's the running back. So you've got a running back pass blocking a defensive lineman, and you've got an offensive lineman not blocking anybody. So if you get a 5-man rush, you want your 5 offensive linemen getting their 5 hats on those 5 dudes. You don't want to have an offensive lineman not blocking anybody and have your running back have to block a D lineman. All right, not a good scenario. All right, so this is one NFL game from Michael Penix Jr., and I think he played it with a lot of confidence and a lot of poise. He made great decisions. He really looked like a guy who's got a really good handle on what they're doing, and I think the coaches feel the same way, and maybe that's why we're not seeing him in Game 2 and Game 3 of the preseason. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when they line up in the first regular season game, whether it's going to be Cousins or whether it's going to be Penix Jr. I think Atlanta feels really good with what they've got with rookie Michael Penix Jr. Okay, if you like today's show, please hit the like button. That helps me out a ton. And if you like listening to me talk about, give my take, my analysis on playing the absolute toughest position to play in all of sports, the quarterback position, please subscribe to QB Unfiltered. Let me know in the comments what you think of Michael Penix Jr., his first and only game so far in the NFL. And let me know what you think's going on with Kirk Cousins. All right. This has been my take, QB Unfiltered. And remember, always throw the ball short to guys who can score. See ya.
I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.